from what I've seen, videos, clips of the tactical games, man, you guys are putting that equipment to the test. Everything is dirty and dusty and getting knocked around, and yeah, it's not like you're just standing upright, like so. Yeah, that's good. You got to have good gear for sure. Now, other than a pistol and a rifle, I mean, it doesn't seem like a sport that you're going to have to, and obviously ammunition, but you can get into it at a relatively, I shouldn't say inexpensive because everybody's idea of that's different, but you don't have to buy a ton of equipment. And once you buy it, other than the ammo, you're pretty much set, right?
Absolutely. I think the cost for admission into the sport is relative. Like I don't think it's an expensive equipment sport to get into. I will say it's expensive for skills, if that makes sense. Like the demand for
To develop the skills, you mean?
right, like for example, USPSA, right? You can walk in with your carry gun and you can shoot the stage and you're good. For tactical games, you can walk in with your pistol rifle, save all budget options. They're great guns, but the skill demand is up here, right? Like it's the first time I've heard of, like, you listen to people talk. It's the first time people think, wow, I've never shot that far, or I've never shot something that small. I've never worked out with a gun in my hand, or I've never worked out to get a gun. So I think that the skill being the most expensive thing, that it's hard. It's a hard sport to get into, but I want more people in there because I want the sport to grow. I want the sport to keep developing. We're still, in my opinion, we're still in its infancy, but it's something that I'm passionate about.
What about holsters? What holsters do you guys use?
So Katie and I use the same holster. Right now we are using Hammer Armament.
Okay.
And basically just a holster with a hood on it. You need some kind of retention. This is what I tell people all the time. They'll show up to train to one of our ORTAC fit classes, which is our athletic two gun training, where we train for all, like, whether it's tactical games or Patriot games is another great competition. They put on a great match. I love those guys too. But people show up to classes without a retention on their holster. Like, oh, if my gun's never fallen out of my holster. I watched a guy in my heat drop his gun during a live stage, and that was it. Goodbye, thanks for playing. And I felt so bad, but you hate to see it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go out that way.
But no, retention is important as a cop, and as a private citizen. Usually, we're carrying concealed, so concealment is our primary form of retention. But yeah, when you're competing and doing crazy stuff like that, I say crazy, it's to you guys, it's just a Tuesday, but climbing ropes and throwing things around and running and all that stuff. Yeah, you got to have something that's going to contain that pistol in there. And so as we start to get toward the end here, I wonder if you can tell me, Ivan, what skills do you think, or what do you think are the main differences and maybe some similarities between like the type of training that you would do as a tactical officer and the type of training you do for the tactical games? Like, do you view one here and one here, or are they very close, or where do you see that?
So this is a conversation that I have a lot. And I think as a culture, right, coming from a law enforcement background, we tend to just confuse what we're actually doing, right? So to answer your question, the simplest way possible, fitness is fitness, right? And shooting is shooting. There is, and this is my humble opinion, there's no difference between tactical shooting and then practical shooting or real shooting. Like the skills are there. Like you have to be able to pull the trigger, aggressively. None of this, prep press. When speed is a demand. If it comes to accuracy, work on the trigger press, your sights, and all that for accuracy demands. But there is this, for whatever reason, we've stymied the growth in the police culture when we start to introduce all these convoluted ideas about tactical shooting. Shooting is shooting. We wouldn't like jog 3 miles, right? And we're not going to do it in our kit with our cruiser next to us because it's more realistic. But we do it for shooting, right? Like we confuse going into a room. Like I'm not the most tactical guy out there, but at the end of the day, you're walking into a room, you're processing the room, and if there's a shoot that needs to happen, you need to rely on your skills to make that shot. That's it.
Yeah, that's interesting, brother, because it's like shooting is shooting and tactics are tactics. And you're going to change your tactics based on what your goal is. If you're competing in the tactical games, you're going to be doing one thing, which is to try to get the most hits in the least amount of time, versus, even though that's still your goal, even in a defensive shooting or in a law enforcement shooting, it's still relevant. But yeah, I wonder if there's things that, for instance, in some of the shooting sports, you may, for the sake of speed, conduct a reload while you're moving from one position to another position. Whereas on the street, that's not probably the best idea. You'd probably want to remain behind cover while you reload your pistol and then move. So how about that? Are you saying that that's all sort of tactics and the shooting kind of stands alone? I think that's what you're saying, which makes sense to me.
Well, isolating like that specific scenario, right? Like you have an instance where, let's just say for the sake of argument, in this picture that we're painting is you're in an engagement, a real life environment. The decision has been made. I need to reload either behind cover or reload my way out of cover, right? And at the end of the day, you can't shoot if there's no bullets in the gun. So competitive shooting, I think Tom Castro says this, like bullets first mentality. Like make sure the gun is up and running, because if there's no bullets in the gun, you can't shoot. But even simpler than that is you have two things happening. You have a reload that needs to happen. So be proficient in your reloads, and then be proficient having your gun up. Those two things. And then when it comes to cover and concealment is you got to be intelligent enough to know that this is going to stop bullets and that's not. And if you don't have cover and you only have concealment, or if you don't have neither, you better start running with that gun as hard as you can.
Yeah.
And that's competitive shooting, right? Like that's what we do. We sprint with a loaded gun to open targets. And I stand by that. Like, I don't really think that there is a tactical shooting. There's only skills that need to be developed. So when things go south, you're like, oh, I know this skill. Case in point.
They can augment your shooting, but the shooting doesn't change. Yeah.
There's nothing mutually exclusive about tactical shooting. Like it's all shooting. If you're going to reload, you're going to shoot, you're going to slap the trigger. If you're going to slap the trigger, make sure you're gripping the gun appropriately. Like this is another thing that we say when we teach here is early on, I was taught don't slap the trigger. I'm like, you're going to slap the trigger. You talk to anybody who's been in a shooting, they slap the trigger, right? So if you're going to do that, might as well grab the gun appropriately.